Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for your patience. I would like to thank Robert Drake and the technical staff here at MomoCon for helping us to sort through this problem. Thank you so much. I am David Benedict. I'm the executive producer for Atlanta Radio Theater Company. I have a very few announcements just so we can get the show on the road very, very quickly. We do have a YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/ARTC Radio. Please silence your cell phones. I'm not so naive as to believe you'll turn them off, but make sure they don't make any noise. We're the only ones making noise up here. Feel free to take pictures. You can post those on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Mastodon, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever the kids are using these days, I don't know. Be sure to stop by our sales table in the dealer's hall. We're booth number 36, like that means anything to anybody. And be sure to subscribe to our daily podcast, Mercury, a Broadcast of Hope. We run a new episode every single day. It's about a group of people living in a college radio station broadcasting during the zombie apocalypse. And today is day 2000 and something, I forget. But yeah, we've been doing it a nice long time. It's a really cool story, if I do say so myself. And now, I would like to, assuming that he has not had an aneurysm, introduce Paul Landry. David Benedict, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. Do it.
Let's do it.
Is that on?
Is it?
Less than red. Try orange.
Check, check.
Uh-oh. Nope.
There it
No, we
is.
didn't.
Nobody move.
All right.
Is it like old TV antennas? We gotta do this.
Yeah, basically. Mhm.
Do it.
That's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
Is he waiting on us to start?
Oh.
Cue number 1 is not Paul.
Music is first.
Music is first, Bill.
Line 1.
Loyal listeners, ripped from the pages of the world's greatest comic book magazines and broadcasting live from the Marcus Auditorium at the Georgia World Congress Center, the Atlanta Radio Theater Company proudly brings to you, from the creative minds of Joe Simon and Jack, the King of Comics Kirby, the Golden Age Action Hour. 3 exciting stories featuring the champions of the working class, the Vagabond Prince and his kid sidekick, the Chief Justice, Arturian Avenger, the Black Streak of Lightning, the Blue Bolt. And now, our mystifying narrator sets the stage for another thrilling tale and journey into the heart of adventure. Tonight's first episode, the Vagabond Prince and the Chief Justice in Trapped on Wax.
Like the living things they are, cities spread and grow, and the original settlement becomes the city slum. Long ago, Eston City was but a wilderness until the first pioneer settled on the banks of the Eston River. His name was John Oakes, a tough fighting man. Now, the year, as counted by Earthmen, is 1935, and the descendant of John Oakes sits in a vine-covered cottage, writing poems for greeting cards.
Ah, the absolute beauty of it. 'Twas fate decreed we meet, and that my longing heart would beat. A love song to you, my sweet. Yes, yes.
But fate has decreed more than a poem for Ned Oakes, for at that very moment in the musty record room of City Hall, 3 figures pore over a book whose contents contain information that will change his life forever. Boss Tweed, a man of avarice and spite, stands with his bodyguard, the dubiously named Mr. Tulip, and the record keeper, Ms. Beads.
Gentlemen, if this were known, Eston City would be rocked with a panic.
Go on, Miss Beads.
I have here the original bill of sale for the land purchased from one Edward Oakes more than a century ago.
And?
The bill was never signed by Oakes. He still legally owns the entire east side of the city. Since you're the boss of there, Mr. Tweed, I'm telling only you about this.
Say, boss, Oakes' great-great-grandson lives a few miles from the city. You've got to get him to sign the bill, boss, or lose the entire East Side.
Yes, there's no time to waste. Bring the car around, Mr. Tulip. I've got an idea. We'll pull the old "oh shucks" routine. We have only his best interest at heart. He'll sign the papers and be none the wiser. Miss Beeds, call this Ned Oakes and set up a meeting.
That's him, boss. Watering the flowers near the front door. You sure he'll sign the papers?
He will. Just let me do the talking.
Gentlemen, I welcome you to my domicile as a flower would greet a gentle ray of sun.
Thank you, Mr. Oakes. I'm Mr. Tweed, and this is my associate, Mr. Tulip.
Greetings, kind sir.
How do you do?
Yes, well, we'd like to get right down to business, so if you'll come with us, I can explain everything on the way.
Certainly. Your Ms. Beeds was quite perturbed by all of this over the telephone. It is my hope that we can rectify this quandary post-haste. Come, let us away.
Zowie, he's buggy, all right.
Be quiet, you dunderhead. A simple clerical mistake, Mr. Oakes. One I hope you will be so kind as to rectify for the good of all people in Eston City. Will you sign the papers and give the city back that which is rightly hers?
Certainly, gentlemen. As the immortal bard once said, a grave injustice hath been done. I can conceive of no earthly reason why I shouldn't sign.
Good. I knew you'd do the right thing, Mr. Oakes. We'll sign the papers when we reach my headquarters on the east side.
I say, what manner of foul hovels are we passing now?
They ain't hovels. This is the east side.
Then this is the section of city I own?
Well, yes, all because of this horrible mistake, of course.
I see.
Some men live and die without knowing why each of us must battle for the rights of others. Some of us awaken to this fact suddenly, like a sleeping man plunged into ice water. Ned Oakes saw much on that ride that he had never seen before. As Boss Tweed gathers the papers which would secretly give him complete control of all of Eston City, Ned Oakes pensively paces the length of Tweed's office.
And now, Mr. Oakes, if you would just sign the papers...
Well, Mr. Tweed, the hour grows quite late, and, well, perhaps I'd best wait till the morn.
But, Mr. Oakes, I really must insist you stay and sign
When the sun breaks forth, again shall I return. You have my word.
Jeez, a crow, boss. Up and left just like that. What do we do if he changes his mind? Then
Not to worry, Mr. Tulip, not to worry. We'll wait until tomorrow for him. Then, if he fails to show up, we may have to chop down a little oak.
So many people. So many desperate faces.
Hey, now, no cutting in line.
Oh, pardon me, madam.
I've been waiting for my bread for hours. The end of the line is down the block there, but I wouldn't bother. There's no way they'll have enough for everyone in line already.
What about those lined up across the street there?
The unemployment line, of course. Say, were you born yesterday, mister? Bad time to be new in town.
So it would seem. Oh, yes, here you are, my good man. The way these people live, I never realized it was this bad. I know there's a depression on, but this is...
Hey, buddy, you all right? Let me help you up.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind. I seem to have taken a bad step and tripped over this waste receptacle.
You sure you're okay, pal? You look awful beat down. Things is tough all over, what with this depression and that lousy Boss Tweed running the east side. But things are bound to straighten out sooner or later. Franklin Roosevelt himself said so. Come on, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. You'll feel better after a little chow.
Oh, I perceive now. You think I'm destitute, without funds. While your generosity overwhelms me, friend, I assure you I'm far from penniless. On the contrary, all that you see here is mine. I own this city.
Oh, well, what do you know? He owns the city. Yeah, you look exactly like the type of fella that would own this dump of a place. A real vagabond prince you are. Well, Your Highness, I should bid you adieu to get back to your, princely musings. A prince, a vagabond prince. No,
I guess it did sound a little silly at that.
As Dead Oaks walks the east side streets, his ears are greeted by the sound of weeping. As he approaches the sound of tears, fate takes another turn.
Oh no. You're having troubles too, eh, son? Can you tell me about it?
Sure, I'll tell you. That lousy skunk Boss Tweed is kicking us out of our house. My pa said he won't go. He says he'll fight Tweed before he's thrown out on the street.
My original suspicions have proven correct. Between your story and what that woman on the street said earlier, I've come to the conclusion that Boss Tweed is as corrupt as they come. Tell me, what's your name, son?
My name is Roger James. I live right here at 28 Pinckney Street. Tweed said if we don't get out soon, there's gonna be real trouble. Tweed wants everybody out.
Don't worry, Roger. You'll not be put out of your house. I'll see to that.
The next morning, Boss Tweed gets a phone call from Ned Oaks.
So, our friend Mr. Oaks has decided not to sign the papers. Said some gibberish about being a prince.
But he can't do that, boss. This is gonna put a monkey wrench into all our rackets. What are you gonna do?
Leave that to me.
Shortly thereafter, Boss Tweed has the papers signed by a forger. And soon, Boss Tweed receives another phone call from Ned Oaks.
Oaks is coming here. He wants us to sign everything over to him. We'll have to break the bad news to him gently, I think.
He'll hurry back to his sissy poems when he discovers we've already signed his name for him.
Come in, Mr. Oaks.
Tweed, I want to talk to you about my land. The entire east side is a disgrace. It's a poverty-stricken den of squalor. You're pushing people out of their homes.
That, Mr. Oaks, is none of your business. And since we've taken the liberty of signing the documents for you, we no longer have need of your services.
Why, you...
Easy, Oaks. Mr. Tulip has a very nervous temperament. I'd hate for his gun to suddenly go off.
Be a real shame, Oaks.
What the hubba, boss?
Nothing, Mr. Williams. Mr. Oaks was just leaving and had a little accident.
Oh, yeah. Say, boss, you want me to go through with that Pinckney Street job or not?
Yeah. You and Tulip go and make an example out of that entire block. And see that Mr. Oaks finds his way out. Mr. Oaks, I suggest you say nothing to the police if you know what's good for you. They'll never believe such a fantastic story in a million years.
You heard the boss.
Now see here, you...
Now beat it, buddy.
Yeah, scram.
Shit, oh, damn. What a sucker.
He said Pinckney Street. I know that street, but from where? That kid Roger! I've got to get to him fast before harm is done.
As Ned Oaks races down the long streets, anger pounds through his veins. The blood of his rough and tumble ancestors, still in his heart, now beats strongly in his chest.
Let me go! My folks are in there!
The fireman's right. Too late to do anything.
Let go! You said you were gonna fix things. You promised. I'm gonna get the guy that did this. I'm gonna get Boss Tweed.
You're right. I did promise. Let's get them together, Roger. I have a score to settle also. What do you say? Will you give me a chance?
I suppose so. My parents. Okay.
Sometime later, at the home of Ned Oakes, Roger learns the Oakes family history.
My father was an adventurer, a treasure hunter. He amassed quite a fortune. I've been lucky to be not affected by the Depression because of it, but it has made me both blind and deaf to the suffering of others. That ends this instant. We're going to make good use of some of the things he collected over the decades. I'll put some of that fortune to good use to help the poor people of Eston City. But first, we're going down into my father's treasure room. He stored some of his most precious possessions there.
It's so dark.
Oh, not to worry, I've got a torch.
Roger sees the vast vault of treasures collected from all over the world. Medieval armor adorns the walls. Artifacts of great value hang on stone buttresses. Chests filled with golden trinkets line the floors. Ned Oakes searches until he finds
this chest from the Orient. It will have exactly what we need. Well, what do you think?
Gee, a prince costume.
Right, a princely costume for a vagabond prince. Roger, how would you like to be my Chief Justice?
Chief Justice? What's that?
You'll be my partner, Roger. You and me, driving to clean up the East Side from not just the crooked grip of Boss Tweed, but to everyone who would take advantage of the poor and downtrodden. Here, this suit should fit you. We'll wear masks to make sure no one suspects us. Put it on, Chief Justice, and let's go.
And with that, Ned Oakes and Roger James leave the Oakes estate in their costumes and make their way back to Boss Tweed, reborn as the Vagabond Prince and the Chief Justice.
There's Boss Tweed's opulent mansion. Perhaps we can find the proof we need.
It's a huge house, Ned. I mean, Prince. How will we ever find the evidence we're looking for?
If my assessment of Tweed is correct, he has a library or study. We'll start there first and work our way through the house until we find what we're looking for. Tread lightly, Chief Justice. We must make sure we aren't discovered. Quickly, through that open window. As I suspected, a library. Come on, let's get to work.
Say, what's this?
A dictaphone. Leave it be, Chief Justice, and help me find what we're looking for.
I wonder what happens if I push this button.
I say, down there. Come on up and join the party. There's nothing down there for you in the library.
Caught. Not Boss Tweed, just some socialite. We'll have to play along. We'll be right up. Come on, kid. Leave this to me and follow my lead.
The Vagabond Prince and Chief Justice climb the stairs to the stately Tweed mansion to discover Boss Tweed entertaining the cream of society. Wealthy socialites who've never known want or hunger sip cocktails and gorge themselves on expensive food, while outside, the Depression rages and bellies rumble.
Oh, I say, I don't believe we've met. Harold Hetty. My father owns the paper mill.
I, sir, am the Prince of Vagabond. This is my Chief Justice.
Oh, my word, what a thrill!
If you'll kindly pardon us, we'll retire back to the library.
The Vagabond Prince and Chief Justice return to the library. As the buzz grows among the wealthy elite, Boss Tweed becomes alarmed.
Wait a minute. I don't know any prince. He's an interloper. Come on, boys, to the library.
Yeah, let's see who they really are.
Aha! Robbers. We know how to deal with crooks, don't we, boys?
You should, Tweed. You have the experience.
Watch out, Prince! He's got a gun!
Ha! Set the chin to the fist. Greetings! Where have you been?
Tulip! Williams! Get up! Out cold. Very well, Prince. Now you have the upper hand. But why? What the devil do you want?
There's proof of your crooked ways around here somewhere, Tweed.
Well, my garishly adorned friend, you'll never find it. No one in their right mind would believe some costume peacock barged in here to get a confession out of me. That fire Mr. Tulip and Mr. Williams started on Pinckney Street was made to look like an accident. I bribed the fire marshal to make it so. Those poor people, those vermin of the streets needed to be taught a lesson. I run this city and I will always run it. And if a few urchins get killed, then so be it.
Well, Tweed, it looks like you just made your last big mistake.
Oh, what are you blathering about?
The dictaphone! You left it running the entire time, Chief Justice. We've got his confession on wax. We'll call the police and tell them we've got a mighty seedy story for them.
Oh, don't! Please, I'll give you gold, diamonds, anything. Just don't go to the police. Please, I got...
That was for Ma and Pa!
Come on, Chief Justice. Let's get this record to the police. Post haste.
2 days later, in the peaceful, sunny cottage of Ned Oakes, Roger enters the study, abuzz with excitement.
Ned, did you read the paper this morning? We're famous.
Mystery Prince exposes Tweed, unknown vagabond prince, and his Chief Justice. Thrill socialite while exposing boss Tweed at party.
Tweed's going up the river for a long time.
Indeed, my young friend. And we'll have other jobs just as big ahead of us. We'll take up the scepter of the Vagabond Prince and Chief Justice and fight for all those who cannot fight for themselves. For the poor and the meek, the voiceless and the powerless alike. But meanwhile, listen to this poem I just wrote. Hear the rhythm in it. Oh, for that land of sun and warmth, that land where man is free. Those were my childhood days, Mother, the ones you gave to me. Well, Roger, what do you think?
I think I'm gonna go see what other treasures are downstairs, Ned.
Everyone's a critic.
Meanwhile, in his cold, dreary jail cell, Boss Tweed receives an unexpected guest.
Tweed, you got a visitor.
What? A visitor?
It pains me to see a man of means such as yourself cast so low by someone so foolish. A man of means and influence rotting away in a dank jail cell. Very unbecoming.
Who are you? What do you want?
I, too, am a man of means. Some might say my reach goes even farther than yours. Tell me, Mr. Tweed, what would you do to get your revenge and see this vagabond prince brought before you in shackles?
I'd give half my fortune to see he gets what's coming to him.
Good. You are not the only one brought so low by people wearing masks, mein Freund. I have been keeping tabs on such individuals. If, as you say, you would give half your fortune to see your enemy brought down, perhaps we can strike a deal when you do get out of here.
I'm interested, but tell me, who are you? What is your name?
My name is Dr. Gottenhimmel, at your service. When you do get out, come find me. A man of means, such as yourself, should have no troubles. Until then, auf Wiedersehen.
And now, part 2 of the Golden Age Action Hour. The Black Owl in The Sword and the Whistling Song of Death.
The Black Owl and the Whistler, an unscrupulous killer, play a grim game in a medieval castle with several lives and a fabulous treasure at stake with death waiting patiently for the loser. Doug Danville, society playboy, answers the insistent ringing of his private phone.
Hello? Oh, Terry. What? You mean our date's off?
I'm sorry, Doug, but I've just been assigned to a new case. Yes, Arnold Goodrich, the eccentric millionaire. He thinks someone's out to get him.
Terry Dane, are you out of your mind? I don't care how much he's paying you. You're liable to stop a bullet for that nut.
I've handled tougher cases, Doug. Besides, Arnold Goodrich is no nut. He's a connoisseur of He's a connoisseur of medieval antiques and customs of the Middle Ages. But no more of a fanatic than you are, with your polo ponies, airplanes, and nightclubs.
Just the same. I don't live in a castle, dress my servants as pages and squires, and I don't hold jousts and tournaments like that bird. Terry, get away from that phone!
What?
Those were gunshots. Terry! Terry!
Are you there, Doug?
Terry, thank God. Are you hurt?
Your warning came just in time. Looks like I outraced his bullets. But don't you think I scare easily, Doug Danville. I'm seeing this case to its end.
Stubborn fool. She's bucking the Whistler, the most dangerous killer alive. I think the Black Owl is going to take a hand in this deadly taffy pull.
Arriving at the bleak castle on the Eston River, which has been transported brick by brick from across the sea by the eccentric old man, Terry shudders involuntarily at its foreboding appearance.
Miss Dane, so good of you to come. This is my nephew, Charles.
A pleasure, Miss Dane.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. I was fascinated when your uncle first showed me.
Who's this, Uncle?
Good evening, my lords. Milady?
I should have known you wouldn't keep your nose out of this, Doug Danville.
Alas, how could I, your ardent suitor, resist the...
Enough.
Can you blame me? I just want to make sure you're safe.
You bet I can blame you. But, fine.
A friend of yours?
Yes, I apologize terribly for the inconvenience. Would you allow him to stay for the weekend? He'll behave himself. Won't you, Doug?
I swear it, good sir. From one rich kook to another.
Doug!
Very well. But you must obey the rules of the castle. Terry, ensure that he is dressed appropriately, and he may stay as your guest.
Thank you. Come on, Doug. Let's get you changed.
Changed?
Meanwhile, another guest drops in. He silently dispatches a sentry about to announce his arrival. Divesting the god of his raiment, the Whistler dons the knightly garment, but still retains the one article he would never part with, his gun.
Now that I'm knighted, I think I'll resume my quest, and nobody had better get in my way.
Well, that was quite a feast Sir Goodrich put on for us. This garden is really something to behold. And, if I may say so, you look very fine in your courtly apparel.
After seeing myself in this getup, I swear I'll never take another drink. You wear it much better than I do. Now, are you going to tell me what this is all about?
Doug, have you ever read about King Arthur's sword, Excalibur?
Of course. Everyone's read the legends.
Well, I know this sounds crazy, but Goodrich has it. He found it while doing research in England. It's priceless. Honest, I've seen it.
Are you trying to kid me?
It's true, Doug. It's the real thing. I laughed too at first until Goodrich showed it to me. There's something about the sword that's uncanny. It sings. I knew at once I had to accept his invitation to come examine it further. That's what the Whistler's after. He knows its value and will stop at nothing to get it.
Really, Terry, I think it's unfair of you to insult my intelligence with such fantastic twaddle as that. What kind of a gullible fool do you take me for? I'll see you in the morning. Perhaps you'll talk sense then. Good night.
Not long after, in Doug Danville's room, a strange transformation takes place.
Doug Danville didn't get very far. Let's see what the Black Owl can uncover.
In the dead of night, a powerful bird-like figure appears to hover over the ancient castle setting.
Help! Help! That sounds like Goodrich. It's coming from his quarters. Jumping Jupiter!
Recognizing Arnold Goodrich's assailant, the Black Owl hurls his iron-muscled body at the elusive Whistler.
The Black Owl! I still owe you a couple for shooting at Terry.
I'm afraid it's over for you, my avian adversary.
Again and again, the killer's finger presses the trigger as death roars for the Black Owl. He dives like a bird of prey, but a steel-jacketed bullet finds its mark.
Just a finishing touch, Mr. Wise Owl.
His head presumably battered in, the Black Owl is left for dead.
And now, Mr. Goodrich, you and your guest must come to the little party I'm giving for you. In the dungeons!
In Arnold Goodrich's dimly lit chamber, the still form of the Black Owl stirs slightly. Memory floods back quickly. The Black Owl, now a torn, blood-stained figure, his life ebbing away, staggers erect. His energy gone, he searches the room for a weapon.
That cabinet. A strange hum coming from underneath. A secret compartment. A sword. I'll use that.
The great sword seems to pulsate with life, sending a flow of energy into the Black Owl's body. His wounds healing, his strength returning. Armed with the mythical sword, the Black Owl searches every room only to find its occupants missing.
Terry! Good Lord! The Whistler's got Terry!
The Black Owl races to the dungeons. Meanwhile, the Whistler finds Goodrich's collection of medieval torture implements very appropriate for his plans.
This iron poker I put in the fire looks just about ready. Now, loosen your tongue, Goodrich. Where did you hide that sword? Come on, or do I have to burn it out of the girl here?
Don't touch her, Whistler!
The Black Owl! I thought you were...
The Whistler hurls the white-hot poker at the leaping mystery man.
It's not so easy, Whistler.
The two battling figures roll across the dungeon floor, poising dangerously on the edge of a pit. Driven by fury and desperation, the Whistler fights like a madman. Slowly, he forces the Black Owl over the yawning brink. But suddenly, one of the figures plunges headlong into the gaping hole. Watching his adversary's falling body dwinder and disappear into the seemingly bottomless pit, the Black Owl, almost exhausted, turns his attention to the Whistler's shackled victims. Before the grateful people can thank him, he disappears into the darkness. The next morning, the wise Black Owl assumes the identity of foolish Doug Danville, the present object of Terry's ridicule.
And you slept through it all? If our fate had depended upon you, we might have all been tortured to death.
Oh, yeah? Well, I suppose this night owl was quite the hero. I can see him now, dashing to the rescue, brandishing Excalibur, the sword of King Arthur.
You must be psychic, Mr. Smart Aleck. Because he was holding Excalibur. He dropped it during the fight with the Whistler. He had somehow found it in its hiding place in Goodrich's room.
The memory of the strength-giving life force flooding his collapsing body after he had found that old sword in Goodrich's room sets the Black Owl wondering.
It seems fantastic, but I must find the secret of Excalibur.
As Doug Danville and Terry Dane discuss the night's events, a figure approaches the castle gates.
Halt! Who goes there?
Guten Morgen, my liege. I am Dr. Gottenhimmel. You are a collector of rare antiquities. I am of the same mind myself.
I don't care for the look of this one, Uncle.
Forgive my nephew, stranger. It has been an eventful night. I do possess many items of great import. As one seeker to another, what are you searching for?
Your hospitality is most appreciated. I seek a leather-bound tome with a golden latch. It is called the Book of D. It has great significance to my family.
Unfortunately, I have no such tome. Your quest continues.
Does it? I see. Thank you for your time, Arnold Goodrich. I will remember this meeting as I search. Be in good health. Auf Wiedersehen.
He makes my skin crawl. Is that why you lied to him, Uncle?
There is only one who will read from the Book of D, and we will know him when we meet them. But that man there must never get his hands on the Book of D or what is within it. And now, loyal listeners, part 3 of the Golden Age Action Hour. Another electrifying story featuring the human lightning streak, the Blue Bolt in The Peril of the Green Sorceress.
Sometimes a person's life can change in an instant. They travel the same beaten path for years, not knowing what destiny holds for them. Until one day, fate intervenes and changes the course of their lives as quickly as a bolt of lightning strikes. Mr. Fred Parrish, Harvard football star and amateur pilot, is about to learn this great truth. He and his companions practice punting on the secluded Parrish Mountain estate when a sudden storm breaks out. A storm of destiny, and his life will never be the same.
Throw it over here, come on.
Get open, get open!
Kick like a
Come on, Christ! Storm came out of nowhere. Let's run for it, fellas. Under that tree over there. That's one under is a punk.
What do you call a punk?
Come on, let's go! Say, does that lightning look kind of funny to you, Jonesy?
I don't know, Freddy. I'm too busy worrying about getting struck by it. Wait a minute. I see what you mean. The bolts, they're...
Blue! Oh, my head. Hey, Jonesy. Jonesy? Bernard? Hey, fellas, come on, this ain't no time for napping. Oh, no. Jonesy? Bernard? Dead, they're dead. Oh, I don't feel so good. I've got to get to my plane. Get help. It's my only chance. Now, if I could just clear these mountains. Funny, the compass, it just whirls and points nowhere. I can't think about that now. First, gotta get up above this mountain ridge. Which means flying straight into the storm. I gotta fly higher. Any minute, one of these bolts could strike!
On a nearby ledge, a strange group of unworldly-looking figures watch the scene with great interest.
Ah, at last. One of them has been struck by lightning. I have waited long for this day. Fetch him.
Yes, Dr. Bertov. He's alive, sir. 'Tis miraculous he is in one piece.
Fetch him up quickly and bring him to my laboratory. There is no time to lose.
The servants of Dr. Bertov gather the bruised and broken body of Fred Parrish and take him deep down into the depths of the earth. They halt at the entrance to a fantastic laboratory. Machines teeming with strange energy hum a godlike tune reverberating off the radium rocks gleaming all about the room. The limp form is laid on a nearby operating table.
To the normals of the outer world, he seems dead, but not to the great Dr. Bertov. Ha! I am thousands of years ahead of their doctors. We are fortunate. The lightning is not yet dormant in his body.
Alive! I'm alive! And I feel so strange, so powerful, as if my entire body is made of electricity.
Success! I have captured the powers of the blue lightning that struck you and have chemically harnessed them in your being with the aid of my radium deposits. With these powers, the ability to produce lightning from your very hands, and the ability to break the bonds of Earth's gravity, and the strength and agility of 10 mortal men, you shall lead my legions against those of the green sorceress. You, my Blue Bolt, shall carry on where I have failed. You shall be the champion of good and the scourge of evildoers everywhere.
The green sorceress?
Yes, she practices black magic such as the world has never believed possible. I learned of her intent to enslave the world by employing these radium deposits. For years, I have secreted myself here to guard them and to combat her.
Incredible. But I still don't understand. Why do I feel like I have lightning running through my veins?
Not to worry, my boy. I shall explain it all. Listen carefully, and I will explain it more.
As the brilliant Dr. Bertov explains, a figure gazes at them through a crystal ball. The green sorceress sits on her throne made of bones and jade and broods.
The fool! To think he can match his powers against the cunning of the green sorceress! It is time to end this, once and for all. Legions, to me!
Yes, my queen!
Man the heat rays! Enter coordinates for Bertov's prefecture. His meddling ends today.
Right away, my queen! Legionnaires, to your stations!
Yes, sir! He thinks he can defeat me with the same radium deposits that power his heat rays. With a simple spell, I've amplified their power 100-fold. His science is nothing compared to my magic.
Already, Highness.
Spare no one.
Ready? Fire!
I'm here.
Are you all right, sir?
I'll survive, but the laboratory will not. The whole mountain may be afire. That devil must have perfected an infernal machine and powered it with her magic. Blue Bolt!
Yes, sir.
Quickly, take the lightning gun on the far wall. With it, you can concentrate your lightning on any target you see. Go! Take to the air and stop this madness.
With a mighty lunge, Blue Bolt hurls himself into space, his lightning gun blazing openings ahead. It soon opens a portal to the green sorceress's lair, where she comes face to face with the powers of the Blue Bolt.
This will fix your fiendish machinations, you purveyor of cheap parlor tricks!
Guards, release the birds. They will stop him.
At once, my queen.
What new devilry is this?
A terror not seen since the earth was young. There is no limit to what my magic can accomplish. Pterosaurs, bring him down to me.
Blue Bolt's lightning gun deals out severe punishment to the savage primordial horde. But their numbers soon take their toll on our hero, and he is felled by terrible thrusts from iron talons.
Back! Back, I say! Your mistress commands you! No one kills him but me! Guards, bring him to the dungeon.
Oh, my head. Again.
Awake at last, I see. I have cast a protective spell against your irksome electricity. I have decided to give you a chance to live. There is room in my forces for a man such as you. If you fight on my side, I shall grant you many favors. The power of magic is far greater than the old man's scientific machinations.
And if I refuse?
Then, fool, you shall be fed to my dragons.
Dragons? Dragons? I think I'll take my chances with them.
Suit yourself.
What?
Bring him to the pit!
The green sorceress escorts him to a cavernous chasm where, to his shock and awe, 2 giant red dragons await, their feet bound by mighty chains.
You're not so brave now, are you?
Giant birds from the Stone Age. Dragons like out of King Arthur? You have some lovely little playmates, Duchess. Don't tell me you have a 3-headed dog in the basement.
Guards, throw him in.
My powers won't work on you because of some hocus pocus, but you didn't say anything about your guards!
Guards! Stop him!
Yes, my queen!
A guard rushes the Blue Bolt, who nimbly sidesteps, and the guard is hurled at the green sorceress, who is standing precariously above her pit of reptilian horrors.
Great Caesar's ghost! Out of the frying pan, then, and into the fire!
You fool! They'll kill us both!
You spared my life before. I'd prefer not to be in your debt. I can get us out of here if you can help me distract them long enough for me to get a clear flight path.
Very well.
Fate creates the most unlikely of allies. They work in tandem in a fight for their lives. Then, in a split second, when the duo has the reptilian monsters at bay, the Blue Bolt gathers the magical woman up in his arms, and with a mighty leap, defying all gravity, escapes the pit of doom.
Where are you taking me?
To see Dr. Berthoff. It's time you answered for your crimes.
What? No! No! No!
Bolt, you've returned. And you've brought the sorceress to me. Imprison her immediately.
She spared my life, and we fought our way out together. Go easy on her.
Ah, she is wicked, my boy. I have prepared a special prison where her magic will have no effect. Her forces will be demoralized, and we can begin our counterattack.
You think your walls can hold the most powerful magician Since Merlin the Magnificent? You're a fool, Bertolf, and you're an even bigger fool for following this crazy old man, Bluebolt. Think about what I said. I can use a man like you to lead my forces.
Stop, sorceress! Get her into the cell quickly.
What's that green mist?
Gone. She's disappeared. I should have foreseen this. We didn't get her into the cell in time.
Blast.
She will return. She always does. And more vengeful than ever. She must be stopped.
She saved my life.
But for her own selfish ends.
You're right. Someone with that much power must be stopped.
It will be some time before she regains her full strength. She is not the only evildoer in this world. You are a champion of good, a centurion of justice. You must make the world safe for the common man, to give him the courage to lift his head high and with dignity.
And I know just where to start.
Oh?
Eston City, my hometown. It was once a wonderful place to live, but it's been taken over by gangsters and hoods of all stripes. I hear there are folks trying to clean it up. I think I'll join them.
Go then, and be their champion, Bluebolt. Should the Green Sorceress return, I will find you.
Until then, good doctor.
Halt! Come no further.
Let him through, Captain. His arrival is expected.
It took me a long time to find this place, Your Highness. I am graced by your presence and your beauty.
I have been watching your approach in my crystal for days. You have traveled far, stranger. And for that, you have my curiosity. What is the nature of your visit?
I am a collector of powerful things. My employer has me collect allies, people who understand power. He understands the nature of your magic, and he would be willing to give you what you need to destroy your enemies.
I need help from no man. Does this employer of yours know just how powerful I truly am?
Sadly, no. But I do. And I know there is one more powerful than you somewhere in the world, imprisoned in a book.
Merlin's rainbow. You mean...
Yes. I do. And very close. If you help me find what I'm looking for, we could bring about a new world order. With this engine of destruction under our command, we can lay waste to our enemies across the globe. Tell me, what would you give to rule?
Very well, stranger. You have my support. But tell me, what is your name?
Gottenhimmel. Dr. Gottenhimmel. In my native tongue, it loosely translates to God in heaven. I am not a god. Yet, perhaps together, we can remedy this.
What strange and exciting adventures will our heroes get into next, loyal listeners? What nefarious plot is the evil Dr. Gottenhimmel planning for our intrepid adventurers? All this and more next week on the Golden Age Action Hour, brought to you by the Atlanta Radio Theater Company. Featuring the voice talents of Adam Ross as our mystifying narrator, Brian Phillips as Ned Oakes, the Vagabond Prince, Stephen Miller as Doug Danville, the Black Owl, Jeff Hunt as Fred Parrish, the Blue Bolt, Krista Burton as Roger James, the Chief Justice, Terry Dade and the Green Sorceress, Billy Barefoot as Boss Tweed and the Whistler, Alton Leonard as Dr. Berthoff, Trudy Leonard as Miss Beads, B.J. Copeland, Evan Judway, Denny Holmes and Ashley Litz as the chorus, and Michael Mao as Dr. Gottenhimmel. Special Foley effects created by Ellie Cook and Ashley Litz. Recorded effects created by William Allen Rich. Special musical arrangements composed by Ellie Cook and her orchestra. Produced by Robert Drake and Paul Landry. Executive producer David Benedict. Floor manager Rachel Morris. Sound design and audio engineering by Robert Drake. Promotional materials provided by Brian Smith and Karen Wilbanks. Adapted for radio by Paul Landry and Jason Clark. Dr. Gottenhimmel created by Landry and Clark. The Vagabond Prince and Chief Justice, the Black Owl and the Blue Bolt created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby and used with permission by the estate of Joe Simon, with special thanks to Mr. Harry Mendrick. Join us next month in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee for LibertyCon, June 23rd through the 25th, and for DragonCon in Atlanta, August 31st through September 4th. I'm Paul Landry. We are the Atlanta Radio Theater Company, performing the greatest stories you've ever heard, and reminding all loyal listeners, both old and new, there is adventure in sound. Signing off.